Hi, my name is Thayer Period, and here's how I remade the beat to Yeet by Young Kayo and Yeat, originally produced by Warpstr. The first thing I remade were these chords. This beat is very interesting because there are some elements that are, I don't think, in key, but it all works, and I really think Warpstr is like a crazy genius, honestly. So I remade this sound in Serum, and here's how it sounds with no effects. It's a pretty wacky sound. So the main thing we have going on here is we have two oscillators, both set to the basic shapes waveform, and our first one is pitched down an octave, while our second one is pitched up an octave, but also for semitones. So if I turn this up, you'll hear it is actually playing a different pitch than this one. So here's our first oscillator, and here's our second oscillator. They're different notes. So that's creating a really weird kind of timbre. But this second oscillator is turned all the way down. So you're not actually hearing this, but we're actually using it to FM our first oscillator, which creates a very weird, wacky, that's why it sounds kind of out of tune, is because the FM is it's just, when you start doing stuff like that, where you're FMing things by different notes, you just get really weird and wacky stuff. So yeah, that is going on there. Then we are also using the velocity to control the level of our first oscillator. As you can see, the higher notes here have a slightly lower velocity, so they're playing a little bit quieter than the bass notes. And then we just have our envelope one in a shape like this. Now for effects, the first thing I added was a bit crusher. That's where it kind of gets its 8-bit sound. Then just a multi-band compressor to clean everything up. Next, I just ran it through a delay and a reverb, just to give it some more atmosphere and space. And yeah, that is that sound. Next thing I remade was this lead. Shocker, again made in Serum. Here's how it sounds with no effects. Again, a pretty basic sound. Effects are doing most of the heavy lifting here. We have two saw waves with our second one pitched up an octave. Also, the level of the second one is turned down a little bit, just providing a higher layer to our sound. Also, we have quite a bit of unison on both of our oscillators with the detune turned up. Then the main thing going on is we're just using a low pass filter to make a kind of plucky motion with our sound. So here's with no filter. Here's with the filter. And the way we're making that kind of pluck is we have our first envelope in a shape like this, and it is controlling the cutoff of our low pass filter with quite a bit of resonance to kind of give it a wow. We also have a lot of mono and legato going on here with around 117 milliseconds of glide, just so there's quite a bit of glide between our notes. Then for effects, I just started by adding a tube distortion, just to beef it up a bit. Then we ran it through a multi-band compressor. As you can hear, that really squashes the absolute shit out of it. Next, a chorus for some additional width. Notice I turned the low pass filter all the way up because I did not want any of those high frequencies getting lost. Then we just run it through a basic reverb and delay. Next thing I added was our 808. Actually ripped this from the original song using a stem separator. I don't really know what the original is, but it sounds very good. It's very thick. Oh, here's how it sounds with no effects. To kind of bring back all that high end that got lost in the stem separation process, I just used a camel crusher with the mix turned down to around 12%. Then I just used some sausage fattener to boost it again, and an EQ to get rid of some extra high end and mid frequencies that didn't need to be there. Last thing I added were the drums. We just have this band's hat, this anything clap, this snare, this open hi-hat, and that's everything. If you want access to the Serum presets from this video, or the one-shot versions of those Serum presets for everyone who doesn't have Serum, or from any of my other 170 plus remakes, you can get access to all that on my Patreon at patreon.com/prodthayerperiod. Also, project files, samples, all that other stuff is also on there. It is a great way to support me and get some new sounds if you're a music producer looking for that kind of stuff. Currently, there's over 400 Serum presets on there for $4. And yeah, I hope this was interesting and helpful and informative, and I will catch you next time. Peace!